here we are, part 2 of this lesson. I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to work my way from left to right. I'm going to go as slow as possible so that everyone can follow me with this lesson. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do it. Or I'm going to do it 3 different times. All right, let's start with this one. I have the number 467, and I'm going to divide it by 3. But I'm going to start with the number 4. So I'm going to ask myself, how many groups of 3 can I make out of 4? Or how many times can 3 fit into 4? And my answer is 1. Then I'm going to multiply. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. And then I'm going to subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. Then I'm going to repeat the whole process over. Bring my 3 down. How many groups of 3 can I make out of 1? And your answer is none, because 3 cannot fit into 1, and 1 cannot be divided by 3. So therefore, I am going to bring down my 6. How many groups of 3 can I make out of 16? And the answer is 5. That means that 3 can fit into 16 5 times, or I can make 5 groups of 3 out of 16. Okay? So 3 times 5 is 15. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. And then I'm going to repeat the process. 3 again cannot fit into 1, or I can't make any groups of 3 out of 1, or I can't divide 1 by 3, so therefore I am going to bring down my 7. Each time I bring a number down is making the previous number bigger or larger, okay? So then you ask yourself again, how many groups of 3 can I make out of 17? Or how many times can 3 fit into 17? And your answer is 5. And then you're going to say 3 times 5 is 15. And then you're going to subtract. 7 minus 5 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0. And then you can bring down your other 0 if you like. So now your remainder is 2. I don't have any additional numbers to bring down. So since we did not zero it out, your remainder is 2. So you take your remainder, you write your R up here, and you put your 2 up there. So your answer to 467 divided by 3 is 155 with a remainder of 2. That means that 3 can fit into 467 155 times with 2 left over. Okay? So let's move on to the next one. We have the number 256, and we are going to divide it by 5. So then you repeat the process. How many groups of 5 can I make out of 2, or how many times can 5 fit into 2, or 2 divided by 5? No matter which way you look at it, it cannot happen. So therefore, I am going to place a 0 up here. So then I'm going to use the number 5. I'm going to include the number 5 with the 2 and make it 25. And then I'm going to ask myself, how many groups of 5 can I make out of 25? So since 5 cannot fit into 2, I get to ask myself, how many times can 5 fit into 25? And I'm sure many of you are saying 5. So that means I can make 5 groups of 5 out of 25, and 25 divided by 5 is 5. Okay? So I'm going to subtract, but before I subtract, I have to ask myself, what is 5 times 5? And my answer is 25. 5 minus 5 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. I can't make any groups of 5 out of 0, so therefore I'm going to bring down my 6. How many groups of 5 can I make out of 6? 1. 5 times 1 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. And then if you like, you can bring down your zeros. I don't have any additional numbers to bring down to make this number bigger. So therefore my remainder is 1. I'm gonna write my remainder at top. So you go back through it and you say 256 divided by 5 equals 5 with the remainder of equals 51 with remainder of 1. That means that 5 can fit into 256 51 times with 1 left over. Okay, move on to our last one. We have the number 650 divided by 50. So we're going to repeat the same process we did for the last 2 problems. This one might be a little easier though to do. So you ask yourself, how many times can 50 fit into 6? Or how many groups of 50 can I make out of 6? Or if 6 can be divided by 50, and your answer is no. So therefore you're going to place a 0 right at the top. So now you get to move over and add that 5 onto 6 and make that number bigger. So now you're asking yourself, how many groups of 50 can I make out of 65? Or how many times can 50 fit into 65? Or 65 divided by 50? 1. And then 50 times 1 is 50. And then I'm going to repeat the process after I subtract. So 5 minus 0 is 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. I'm going to bring my 50 down so that I can have a visual of what I'm doing as I repeat the process. So then you repeat the process by asking yourself again, how many groups of 50 can I make out of 15? Or 15 divided by 50, and it cannot happen. So therefore, I'm going to bring down my 0. Each time I bring a number down, it's making the previous number bigger so that I can divide. So then you ask yourself, 150 divided by 50, or how many groups of 50 can I make out of 150? With this one in class, I would ask students to think of it in terms of money. So if this was $1.50, how many groups of 50 cents can you make out of $1.50? So then you'd see some of them, this is 50 cents here, this is another 50 cents there, that's $1, another 50 cents here, that's $1.50, and then you would see that light bulb go off and they'll say, oh, Miss Jackson, you're holding your fingers up. The answer is 3. So 150 divided by 50 would give me 3 groups of 50. So 50 times 3 is 150. And then I would subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 5 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. And in this case, you do not have a remainder. We were able to zero this number out. So that is your lesson for today. The first 2, you had a remainder. The last one, you did not have a remainder. 650 divided by 50 is 13. That means that I was able to make 13 groups of 50 out of 650. So if you have questions or you need to contact me again, it's email, Dojo, Google Classroom. I'm here for you. I will post a lesson on this, aligned with this on Google Classroom today. And we'll go from there. Your next lesson will take place on Tuesday, and it will be on multiplication. All right, love you.